player decides to make his decisions on casting Chain Lightning and Shockwave on a really tight group of low HP units, like, or even in red hit point units. I can see in that last battle, he was able to pick off what you see a lot of Source and Priest going down all at the same time, 3 or 4 falling instantly to a volley of Shockwave and Chain Lightning. So really good use there, a really good use of Shockwave and Chain Lightning on there. He's not, again, targeting those Spellbreakers since they're immune. He's not necessarily using it on specifically the heroes. However, if he can get the volley of Shockwave or Chain Lightning on a hero, he'll try to do that. But you notice this Orc player using Chain Lightning a lot more than those Wolves. However, he does have, I believe, level 3 of both of them. I'll have to check I didn't check the replay statistics. I don't think he went for Shockwave at level 6. I think he went for his level 3 Wolves and his level 3 Chain Lightning, which is going to be very, very effective in this match because those Wolves just, are really good at chasing down heroes. They have that chance to crit. They're going to be good at focusing down these mortar teams who, although heavy armor, they are going to take. Since they're so low hit point, they're going to take a good amount of damage from those Wolves in general. Plus, Chain Lightning with Shockwave, heavy armor does extra damage for them. So, mortar teams maybe not the best decision to go at this point in the match. He's probably just picked those up again as a counter to the light armored Kodo Beast. Probably those mortar teams do a good job of picking off on the Kodo Beast, and they do good siege damage. So they're going to be good against the Spirit Walkers again. So here, he has opted to change his Water Elementals out, so he does have those Water Elementals, sticking them in the back just to do range DPS. Instead of opting to use his Mass Teleport to get out of that fight by the Orc player's natural expansion, he does buy a Scroll of Town Portal, so he can definitely get that off. However, Mountain King's still gone for that human player just now coming out of the altar, so he wasn't able to stick around and do very much to that Orc player's natural expansion, who has been up the majority of this game with very little consequences. He lost some of his peons earlier on versus those footmen, but majority of the game he hasn't had to really defend this with any towers or anything like that. So he's Orc player again trying to put up that expansion up at the north eastern part of the map. Again, he has to have that controlled because he's having to put up with that expansion that was up at the bottom. However, since he was able to take that out early, the human player has yet to be able to refortify and recreate that expansion up at the southwestern part of the map. So doesn't have to worry about it right now, and if he can get this expansion up, he'll have the advantage over that human player. So he's using his Wolves to scout his opponents. Again, those level 3 Wolves, so he did actually opt for those level 3 Wolves, you see they're invisible, to scout out where the human player is, and also to see if he's put up any expansions. And finding out that he hasn't put up that other expansion, and he's kind of keeping his Wolves in with the human player's army. He knows where that human player's at. He knows where he's going to be coming from, so he can decide to bring his army around and intercept them if he needs to. But he sees that the human player was on the way to that expansion. He saw all those militia coming, so he realizes that that expansion is going to be a threat soon. He picks off this Water Elemental that's trying to obviously the Water Elemental now scouting out that the Orc is scouting has that expansion up at the northeastern part of the map. So both players know now that there's going to be expansion in those spots again, so now it's just the decision time if they want to trade expansions off or if either of them can hit the expansion and then properly defend it to secure that final bit of economic advantage here. Taking a look at the food counts again, 47 food out of 50 food, so relatively even here. Hero levels, however, level 6 for Tauren Chieftain, and level 6 Farseer versus level 4 Mountain King and level 6 Archmage. I definitely wanted to try to opt for a more balanced hero levels if we can. Having lost that Mountain King earlier, he's only going to have level 2 Clap, and I believe he goes for level 2. I think he just has the Bash, not opting for Stormbolt. I haven't been paying attention to if he uses Stormbolt. Very, very mana intensive to use both Stormbolt and Clap. However, he doesn't do that. So Mass Teleport used to get his whole the human's whole army into picking off this natural expansion. Natural expansion has probably looks like he has 5,700 gold left in his gold mine there, so he's not having to necessarily defend it. The human splits up his army and starts hitting off on his other expansion, again using Mass Teleport to get himself there quickly. The Orc player deciding now that he's probably going to have to defend one of those. He doesn't have, he does have a Scroll Town Portal. Let's see if he decides to use that with the to save that last base. I think he's going to be able to TP there in time and make a really decisive battle here. So he's got his Raiders out and his Wolves and everything targeting that last the Town Hall by the human player. He is TPing out earlier, so that Town Hall at the southeastern part of the map is going to stay up at about half life now. He TPs just in time to save that Great Hall. The Great Hall for him at 367 life out of 1,500. Obviously, I'm shoutcasting it a little bit in case you guys aren't paying attention. we do see that Shockwave and Chain Lightning going off again. You see those sorceresses on the back. They're in pretty good position, but again, because they're so tight, they're very, very vulnerable to Shockwave and Chain Lightning. So red HP now just picked off a Priest, and his Chain Lightning volley going to come off and pick off the rest of those 3 sorceresses in the back. Again, falling easily to all that Chain Lightning and Shockwave volleys, because the human player does not have those scrolls of healing to counter the effect after each wave or each Chain Lightning. So human player uses his Scroll of Town Portal to get out of there. Obviously Scroll of Town Portal and the Mountain King, who's being targeted there. Mountain King TP's out with relatively low hit points, but the Orc player was able to save his expansion now. So we're still kind of even here. Although all the peons are down on both expansions, the peasants actually aren't being recreated here at the Town Hall. Looks like maybe he might use some militia. No, hasn't opted to recreate them just yet. Human player has 600 gold and the Orc player has 100. So I guess the human player has a little bit of an advantage here. Wolves being used by the Farseer to, again, mainly it's just used for scouting. He's not necessarily using those wolves to kill off that Town Hall. However, he could make the decision to do that because there's nothing stopping those wolves from doing that damage. Earlier, those guard towers and arcane towers, the arcane towers obviously doing more damage to summons. They did have the magic sentry upgrade so they can see invisible units, purely just for that purpose, to stop those wolves from doing what they're doing right now. Mass teleport used again by this human player to try to get some positioning on the Orc. He used a peon to build a scout tower again, just so he could kind of quickly move around the map with mass teleport. But he's not going to be able to use that mass teleport as far as an out. Right now he's only got 2 Sorks and 2 Spellbreakers. This is obviously going to be the last fight. We're at 38 food out of 38 food for both armies. He tries to use his mass teleport to get out, but a Raider casts ensnare, and he does actually get it off. So that ensnare was in the air when the mass teleport went out. So one of the last fights, obviously coming up relatively soon. We're towards the end of this replay, and we'll see how the Orc player decides to finish this off. Both players with an even army count right now. Actually, the Orc player just fortified it with some more units. I think he decided to pick up a Raider and an extra Grunt and a Spearwalker, so he's got 1 unit coming out of each of his production buildings. Very, very nice. Those 3 units are going to have a very, very big effect on this battle. 44 food now for the human player. Now, really, the kind of last folly attempts that the human player is going to be able to do here is to be able to use mass teleport in such a way so he can stop that Orc player from fortifying his refortifying his army with his economic advantage, obviously with his expansions, so he can't continue to produce units and things like that. So he's using sorceresses and invisible sorcerers, which is scouting the Orc player on his way towards that his last remaining expansion. But he's going to try to use mass teleport, obviously, on that sorceress to make the fight happen if he can. But I believe he decides to negate that, and he decides to make the fight here at the southwestern expansion here again. Shockwave and Chain Lightning being used by the Orc player. Mass teleport trying to be used here by the human player, but again canceled easily since he's so far out in front. A sorceress just cast invisibility on him, but a Raider sees him out. Dispel on that same area there was able to scout out the Archmage, who was invisible after the ensnare had faded, and the Shockwave obviously would have been able to hit him anyway. So human player goes down, decides to make that game go end that game at the moment. I guess there's not a lot to talk about as far as post-game analysis here. Well, thank you guys for listening to my audio commentary, and I appreciate all your questions and comments you might leave me on the front page of WCReplays.com. And I look forward to seeing what you guys think about the questions, comments there. Blah, blah, blah. I'm obviously mumbling. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye.